Biden, it's nice to have you here as the youngest member of the Senate, the one, therefore, who may expect the longest career there. I wonder if you'd say to us, since it's clear that you're not corrupt and you got elected, why should people think that the system produces corrupt results when there you are?
Well, I'm not sure you should assume I'm not corrupt, but thank you for that, though. The system does produce corruption, and I think implicit in the system is corruption, when in fact, whether or not you can run for public office, and it costs a great deal of money to run for the United States Senate, even from a small state like Delaware, you have to go to those people who have money, and they always want something.
Well, I wonder whether you would feel that there's some virtue in forcing candidates to go out and try to raise money. I've heard people, probably people who didn't run for office, say that it's uplifting to go out and try to get money. Do you think that there's something unuplifting about putting a limit to how much you can ask one man to give you?
I think it's the most degrading experience in the world to have to go out and ask for money, because you know that unless you accidentally agree with the position taken by the person or group that has the money, that you run the risk of deciding whether or not you're going to prostitute yourself to give the answer you know they want to hear in order to get funded to run for that office. In fact, you know that the only way you can raise any money to get to run for public office is to go to vested interest groups. Then, in fact, you're put in the position that you have to begin to wonder whether or not you prostitute the ideas that you have about government in order to get the money to begin to run.
Of course, you've had recent experience with this, having been elected in 1972.
That's correct.
And I believe you just said that your campaign cost some $300,000.
$276,000.
All right, so, and you raised that money by public contributions, did you not?
That's correct.
And you raised that money in a race against an incumbent, did you not?
That's correct.
Yes. And Senator, I'm sure that you would agree that your service in the Senate up to this point has not reflected any particular concern for the larger contributors.
Well, the fortunate thing is I didn't have many larger contributors, and the only reason, see, I went to the big guys for the money. I was ready to prostitute myself in the manner in which I talked about.
There he is. Welcome to the Bill Mason Show. Hey, Bill.
Hey, thank you for that vintage Biden footage. That is great to know that since he was 29 years old, he did not rule out the fact that he may become corrupt.
Right. I mean, we already know he's a corrupt, so and he admitted it right there.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, the running joke is that the DC Beltway is where you sell your soul. And that's what you do. And once it's sold, you fight to stay on Earth and be the most powerful person you can. So the vintage Biden, you know what it really brings to light is that I think he was 29 years old when he got elected, and he hasn't done a single thing out there in the public sector or the private sector, so to speak, in his lifetime. He's literally lived off of taxpayer money since he was 29 years old. So he basically left mom and dad's, went to college, and then the government's been supporting him ever since. So there we are.
And now he's a multimillionaire.
Yeah, amazing. It's amazing that you can make $172,000 and turn it into millions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that gig. Maybe we should run.
Well, the funny thing that he touched on actually is that, you know, and this is him as a young man, when you take that private interest money, you really know that you're somehow, some way going to have to twist what you believe into what they believe. And, you know, I might be paraphrasing, but he's basically admitting that when he does get into a position of power and he has that big donor money like he has now, I'm not going to lie. You look at the people that contributed to his campaign, it's Wall Street tycoons, big tech, Google, Facebook. This is the biggest crop of billionaires I've ever seen.
And 10% for the big guy, too.
Yeah, 10% for the big guy. And that's what's waiting for him even after this. Or, you know, it's waiting for Jill Biden because, you know, he's going to get suicided, you know, most likely by the suicide machine, the Clinton suicide machine. But what I wanted to touch on is that the craziest, you know, circle of all this talk of, like, you know, money and influence and power is that Donald Trump mostly is his momentum comes from working class, blue collar. It comes from white collar people. I'm not going to lie. There's tons of white collar people who love what Trump has done for the economy, for the stock market. I mean, honestly, there are people that couldn't retire or had no no idea that they would be able to retire before they were 60, but their 401ks went through the roof under Donald Trump. So there is a market for him that is not the mega elite class. And that's the thing about Donald Trump, is that you couldn't buy him. He got into office as a billionaire, and you couldn't also get him to take special interest money, because it's we the people that he's basically fighting to protect. So Joe Biden represents the elite class, and it's so funny that they managed to spin.
Not only does he represent elite class, he also represents China.
Oh yeah, and the problem with that is that now that we know he sold this country out to China, there's this weird part of the population that is ready to embrace that all over again.
Oh yeah, dude, that's sucking jobs out to China. Let the borders wide open. He doesn't care.
And I mean, we talked about it many shows ago. If anybody's new to the Bill Mason Show because of this election thing, thank you. And we have been getting more subscribers, and we love it. But if you haven't watched other shows, we have talked about the fact that you can see on paper the effect that the Obama-Biden administration had on this country, the way that the jobs were shipped overseas and the things that they did in the trade agreements. That's coming back. The Paris Accord that we pulled out of, that's coming back. So all the nonsense that he wants to bring, which, by the way, he's not president. He's not president-elect. I know I may be, going down that road. I don't want to be the guy who falls victim to the media spin where he's this pre-elected president, where there's no such thing. Right. The Electoral College has not talked about anything at this point, and nothing is certified. And even, all over the world, they're talking about the fact that Joe Biden came out and said, "Oh, I'm going to wait till everything's done, everything's certified, and then, that's the process."
Well, they have the Australian video. I mean, we have that right now. By the way, we have tons of videos tonight. It's going to show you what's going on with the voting fraud that's going on with the Dominion voting machines. We have Australia news talking about what's going on, and we're going to show you the caravan going to Washington, D.C. for this coming rally that's going to be this coming Saturday. And you're going, Bill, to this rally. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I'm absolutely going. And I mean, the record numbers are going to be undeniable. And I'm going to actually be amazed to experience this. Like, I'm very looking forward to it. But, here we go. Let's show the how the Australians perceive our election.
So let's take a look.
Biden and the Democrats are very, very keen to ignore any of the concerns around the election result. Now, we know, and you heard this earlier, dead people voted beyond dispute. Mail-in votes were backdated according to whistleblowers. It appears as though voter fraud has been quite extensive, and it's gone on and on and on. But Joe Biden says, we won. Let's pretend that doesn't exist, and let's have the lefty media call it fake news. But there is actually a problem with this, and Bronwyn, you mentioned it earlier, because Biden said he would wait to declare victory until all proper processes had been undertaken. Here it is.
Vice President Biden, final question for you. Will you urge your supporters to stay calm while the vote is counted, and will you pledge not to declare victory until the election is independently certified?
Yes, and here's the deal. We count the ballots, as you pointed out. Some of these ballots in some states can't even be opened until Election Day. And if there's thousands of ballots, it's going to take time to do it.
Well, Bronwyn, you raised the term of certification.
Yes.
There's the evidence. Biden agrees with you, but now he insists upon being the presumptive winner already. Is that hypocrisy?
Well, of course it is, but why are we surprised? He is trying to be and playing the gentleman on that occasion in that debate. All he wants to do is be the president. He'll be quite without power. The real power behind the throne will be Kamala Harris. And perhaps when we start to see what statements she's starting to make, we'll know what direction things are going to take. But the long and the short of it is, in 2000, when George Bush won, it was indeed George W. Bush won. It was indeed the 13th of December that a decision was made. So there's no great race. Trump remains the president until the inauguration on the 20th of January. Yes. There is no provision in the Constitution to have two presidents. You have one president at a time. So what's the rush? Let's do it properly and systematically, and that is what Trump is doing. And I do hope that people are concentrating hard on Georgia with the runoff on the 5th of January, because those two Senate positions will determine who controls the Senate and really what happens.
All right, so there you go. So, wow. So even the Australian news gets it.
Yeah, and they're so polite. You notice how they call them the lefties? Like over here, we call them the anarchists,
Right.
and we literally call them the socialists and the communists. So they're still barely touching on the fact that we are, as Americans, we're fighting off communism. Well, they're gonna sneak it in as socialism, which always turns to communism. And this is the thing: if we don't fight this as the beacon of freedom, and we let these people steal an election in plain sight, where there's rampant fraud and rampant affidavits of people coming forward. I know Rudy Giuliani has a list of people who are signing affidavits who are ready to come forward and testify as to everything from voter fraud, ballot tampering, machines. I mean, everything. It's not like it doesn't exist, and we have this main slime media that is just going to be like, nope, nothing to see here. And I don't know how long we're going to be able to continue as the Bill Mason Show, because people are being silenced as we speak. Yeah. So well, this is something that, is a problem where free speech is on the line.
People were anxious. I mean, people on Twitter, they were saying that ICE was deleted. Did you hear that recently?
Yes.
But it wasn't deleted. It was just, they were just down. Twitter helped them get them back up again. So, but ICE is probably going to be gone if Biden becomes president.
Yeah, because it goes against the narrative of the Biden administration. I don't know if anybody has dove into the Joe Biden first 100 days. I mean, it's the scariest thing that you could imagine. But we are in a fight for not only our individualism, what America is the right to be an individual, right, and make, individual decisions. We're fighting to not become part of a collective that, the Biden administration wants to push forward. And that's the problem, I think, that we have this beautification of socialism. And people, if they study history, they would understand that this is all bad. There's no shiny part of this. This is all bad that the Biden administration is willing to bring and empower people like AOC and empower people like Bernie Sanders. Can you imagine Bernie Sanders like, I am now the Department of Labor. I am in control of the Department of Labor. All people must report to the gulags. I mean, that's my best Bernie. But, anyway, I don't want to tangent, but we have Rudy Giuliani, who is, one of the guys, I think he's the down in the pit fighter. And I think that's why the left hates him, because he's a proven guy who can beat leftist agenda. He went into New York City and cleaned it up through conservative values and law and order. Right. And that's the thing. That's why the left hates Rudy. And there's been a million attacks on him, but he just keeps coming up with the goods. And that's why he's Trump's lawyer.
Yeah, let's take a look at Rudy. He was talking about the Dominion voting systems. I mean, that's a big issue going on right now.
Huge. It's a huge issue.
Let's take a look.
We have a person who's come forward with an affidavit inside of Dominion that has said that Dominion observed the 100,000 phony ballots that were brought in at 4:00 in the morning on November 5th that were all Biden ballots that appeared by every measure to be phony ballots, since they were brought in the back door. They were not in the proper containers. They were sticking out of the paper bags and cardboard boxes. And they were told that these were ballots that were needed to catch up to Trump because Trump was too far ahead. When they were counted, they were all counted in favor of Biden. The woman who has given us an affidavit, who worked for Dominion, said that she saw not a single Trump vote. She was there for 4 or 5 hours. and it appeared to her to be horribly corrupt. And when she reported it, nothing was done about it. She was told it wasn't any of their business. So that's not a whistleblower. That's a witness on the record in our lawsuit in Michigan, which is why I feel pretty good about the lawsuit. There's 100,000 vote fraud. Do we have other witnesses for that are somewhat reluctant to come forward right now? Yes. We can probably corroborate that 3 or 4 times. Wow. So I think they're finished on that. I think that's something that actually happened. They brought 100,000 votes in. They were all Biden votes. There was not even a vote for another Democrat.
Mr. Mayor, another question for you. Have you had any contact with anyone in the U.S. intelligence community about any of these election irregularities?
I don't think I can comment on that. There is no question. Another aspect of this was the vote interfered with from the point of view of the computers that we used? Mm-hmm. And does Dominion figure very big in that situation, given the fact that it uses Chinese software and has a rather checkered history?
There we go. So Dominion is switching votes. So we have the consultant to Dominion, a video here we're about to play that's going to show that and show what they were bringing in as far as votes. So we're going to show that. We're going to show you about the machine too itself. So there are big issues with that, Bill.
It's diabolical that I think some of these states are, I want to say, so far involved in do anything for the cause that they don't realize that they're eroding American freedom by using a voting machine like this, that unbeknownst to even them can not only be hacked, but used as a printer to actually mark ballots that aren't marked. I mean, this is a place where we never wanted to go as Americans. And now we have people in power that it seems that they are so focused on the outcome that no matter what it is to get there, they'll do it. They'll cheat. They'll change ballots. They'll postmark. I mean, there is no limit to their hate for Donald Trump. And Biden, as the alternative, is just reaping the benefits of being opposite of Trump. For all these people out there that hate him so much that they're willing to lie, cheat, steal, erase votes, add votes, make fake ballots, burn ballots, all of this stuff. I mean, who would have thought this is where we would be in America, where they wouldn't just let the vote play out and see how America feels? They have to tamper. And this is where I think we start to lose ground. The faith in the electoral system, the faith in the justice system. I mean, if this doesn't work for 72 million people, is Joe Biden going to unify this country? Absolutely not.
No, there's no quarter. The last 4 years has been horrible.
Unbelievable, man. I mean, and can we expect the Republicans to not relent on Joe Biden? And honestly, this runoff, I know we have some graphics. There's a runoff in Georgia because you cannot win. You have to win by 51%. So there's a runoff in Georgia. We could gain a Senate seat essentially there. And the BS will stop if that happens. So my hope is not only riding on Donald Trump, but also some of these runoffs that they tried to steal, but they were so focused on Joe Biden getting the fake ballots that they didn't realize they can't make it close in Georgia. And now the race in Georgia is so close that we could win a seat in the Senate. So you know what? I hope it blows up in their face.
Yeah, if Georgia flips and Pennsylvania flips, I mean, that's it. I mean,
that's it.
It doesn't. No one wins 270. So,
well, that's a problem. We talked about that.
Yeah, but the good thing about it is there's a vote per state. So actually, it's the
one vote.
Yeah,
right.
So actually, it's good for Trump actually.
But if that, so then they've ran that scenario. So Nancy Pelosi is already talking about how she could be the president. I mean, this is sickening. It hurts me when I hear her say those words.
We talked about that a couple of months ago about that.
Oh, it hurts my soul when I hear her say that she could be president. If that happens, I don't know what I would do. Honestly, it would be the craziest time to be alive.
It would be. So let's take a look at that Dominion consultant in Michigan talking about the votes.
I walked past one of the counters and his machine had a number. So there's going to be a number on the left-hand side of the machine, on the left-hand side of their computer sitting in front of them. That's going to show a total number of ballots that were tabulated on that tabulator, which could be any number, okay? Then on the right-hand side, there's going to be a number that should never go over 50 because the batches come in 50.
Sure.
Well, his number was in the 500s.
Oh, wow.
So I said, stop, stop. Don't even touch anything. I'll be right back. I have to go grab my manager because this is a big problem. What that meant was that every ballot that he had in that batch of 50 had been scanned 8 to 10 times.
Right.
Counted 8 to 10 times.
Okay, so those ballots were duplicated 8 to 10 times, which resulted in far more votes than were actually taken in.
Absolutely. And that was one person that I saw their number.
Yeah.
Now, this happened countless times because I don't think I told you this. I started work at 6 a.m. and I worked a 24-hour shift.
Oh, wow.
All right, so there you go. So definitely voter fraud in Michigan.
Absolutely. And it shows you that the people that are supposed to be in charge with doing a simple thing like feeding a vote into a machine, taking the cartridge, getting a new cartridge of 50, they're keep feeding and keep feeding and keep feeding. They know that they were so scared of Trump's momentum that they went into this knowing they had to cheat to win. And it was like this movement where I think like I know a lot of the unions, I'm not going to lie, I'm in a union. I'm in a Teamster union, and yes, they pump a lot of Democratic stuff down the pipeline. They give you these stupid pamphlets, and it hurts my soul that they donate $1.9 million a year to Democratic candidates. It hurts my soul, but they tell me, oh, you should vote Democrat, and I'm like, give me a reason. Why? But anyway, here's the thing. The poll workers that are involved in all this stuff, the people that are feeding the votes and all this stuff, they're like AFL-CIO, labor union people, and they are pulled to the sidelines. The people that don't reject this notion that somehow Joe Biden is keeping us in business. I mean, they pull them aside and they say, hey, you want to be a poll worker? You want to make a union wage for a day on a Saturday or whatever? I mean, this is the thing that happens. And these people are crooked and they're underhanded and they're not honest and they don't care. They don't care that they're stealing another American's right to vote because they have an agenda in their head that there's this mammoth evil being that they have to get out of the White House. So they feel by any means necessary, including cheating, lying, running votes multiple times, it's all acceptable under the grand scheme of things that they're doing something great.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. So, and they're not doing everything great. They're holding back. America. We're a republic. We want to make sure our votes count. So let's take a look at this Dominion voting machine, how it can be hacked. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
The voting machine is called the ImageCast Evolution, or ICE machine. It's made by Dominion.
The Dominion Voting ImageCast Evolution, or ICE, is an all-in-one accessible paper-based voting system.
This ImageCast Evolution voting machine has the physical ability to mark votes onto the ballot after the last time the voter sees the ballot. And that's a disaster if we lose the ability to trust that the paper trail really represents what the voter intended.
Andrew Appel is a professor of computer science at Princeton University.
My research is in software verification and election machinery.
He's an election security expert who has testified before Congress and been featured in Politico magazine.
ImageCast Evolution, where it's used in the United States. New Mexico in 2013, Ohio and Tennessee in 2013, California, Florida, Minnesota, Virginia, and Wisconsin in 2016.
The machine is a combination ballot marking device and optical scanner. According to information on the company's website, the voting machine is the only optical scan tabulator using a single ballot paper path. That means it's a printer and a scanner in one.
If the machine is hacked, then they can install software that marks votes on the ballot after the voter last saw it. And if the piece of paper can be marked by the computer after the last time the voter saw it, and the whole paper trail is compromised.
Security experts do not believe that the ICE machine is the only voting machine being sold with the ability to add votes to paper ballots. Appel and other computer scientists believe that two versions of the Express Vote, a ballot marking device by another company, ES&S, have the same capability. That machine has already been purchased by half a dozen states, sometimes, like in Philadelphia, over strong community opposition against expert advice.
These barcodes go against the recommendation of the Blue Ribbon Commission on Pennsylvania's election security.
And with indications that there were conflicts of interest in the procurement process.
There were many issues in this process that are troubling.
6 swing states have now purchased voting machines that security experts say have this problem.
There you go.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. So Pennsylvania.
Designed to steal.
Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan. All of them have those machines.
No, all the swing states?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And that one they showed that wasn't a Dominion one, ESS, I personally voted on that one. That's a Pennsylvania one. I don't know how many other states have that, but it just goes to show you that obviously someone who's, most likely has connections is involved with getting these voter machines to be where they need to be. Okay, they know what they need to do because there's extensive research done by these liberals. They really know where the heartland of America sits, and they want to try to tamp it out like it's a fire. And they're, the only way to do it is to cheat, and that I think is what is really pissing people off. And that's why the Million MAGA March. The Million MAGA, that's why people are already in Washington, D.C. It's Thursday, and there's already people in Washington, D.C. because this is not about Joe Biden or Donald Trump. This is turned into my vote counts. And the thing is that Donald Trump's record numbers of over 72 million, it's even more than that if you take in the Dominion machines and also the scorecard software, which we talked about in a couple of other shows, that every third Trump vote goes to Biden. And it's in the programming, and it's been in there to keep it close. But when you put that on top of the fake ballots, you get this BS number that Biden has now.
And dead people voting.
And dead people? I mean, the 200, here's another research that's about, this is about to come out from Project Veritas. Also, they have a person, all the COVID-19 deaths in New York City voted in this election. Now we're waiting for confirmation, but the guy who's doing the research, and we're going to break it on Bill Mason show, of course, all of those COVID deaths managed to make it to the voter rolls of New York City elections. So this is mind-blowing. And I mean, the things that are mounting, it's almost like a race to, it's called Safe Harbor Day. So December 8th, I believe, is Safe Harbor Day. That's when the Electoral College people are chosen, and they sit down and they go over the numbers. And it's a race to do as much damage as you can before that day, and to try to stop all this information coming out. As we're seeing now, we're watching the censorship of big media. I'm not even going to say how many platforms we're on, but we're being censored. Other people who are putting this message out are being censored. And it's only a matter of time before they get to this weird point where there's so much fraud out there. Like I said, we showed that they're watching this in Australia. excuse me, they're watching this in England. The world is watching them cheat. It's
People are
not
watching us
just
in England.
us. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're worldwide.
I mean, this is the thing. Everyone is watching them cheat. Everyone is watching them deny that they're cheating, and everyone is the same, waiting with bated breath for the justice system to kick in. And this is where I'm a little like, I really was a Bill Barr fan, and I was like, man, Bill Barr's gonna bring it. And I was like, the Durham report, it's gonna be so good. But where are these things? Where is Bill Barr? Where is the Durham report? Where is this stuff? So this is what's teetering on this country losing its mind, is that the world is watching them cheat in an election. This country is watching them cheat in an election. This country has witnessed Hunter Biden's laptop. We've witnessed all the evidence, yet Bill Barr, the Durham report, nothing burgers.
Right.
What is happening to this country right before our eyes?
Yeah, I mean, we also have a video of the Newark mayor's daughter saying they stole the election.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, de Blasio's kid.
Yeah, take a look.
Yeah.
Why do you think this is so special? Why do you guys have this special?
Well, for me, it's really special because now we have the first Black Asian female president in office, elected, and Joe Biden was able to steal.
Oops.
He was able to win. Sorry.
I thought I had a new story here.
No, we were able to win the election.
Kamala Harris is very important.
Yes.
What does it mean to you as a
She said it.
Oops, did I say
Whoops.
steal?
I guess
I didn't win.
she got it from her her father.
Daddy.
Yeah, saying, hey, they
Daddy.
stole it.
If anybody doesn't know who that was, his name on the legal documents is Bill de Blasio. His original name is Warren Wilhelm Jr. You know why he changed that? Because he is so creepy. He said, it sounds too German. I want to go into politics.
Oh,
So
wow.
this is the thing about Bill de Blasio.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, his name is Warren Wilhelm Jr. Anybody can Google it. Anybody can look it up. And the reason he changed it is because when he wanted to get into politics, it sounds too German. And people equate German names with Nazis. I want to be the anti whatever, So he knew very early on that politics was going to be his forte. And he also knew that you can't build on your own personal name, that you have to be like this acceptable brand. Kind of like what Joe Biden, like our first video, our intro, what Joe Biden touched on is that you sell the American people as a brand of independence and free thinking. And then you become this money laundering whore when you get to the DC Beltway. And he knew that back in the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
And he's the embodiment of the DC Beltway whore who now we just, people are like, oh, he's the solution to everything.
He's part of the swamp.
He is the deepest swamp creature you could ask for.
Oh, yeah.
And, and this is the thing. And they had to cheat to win. So, I'm going to the Stop the Steal. I encourage anyone who's, there's going to be plenty of patriots, plenty of Americans out there that are going to be in Washington, D.C. this weekend on Saturday. I'm personally going. I know other people that are going. If you're close, come to D.C., show your support. I mean, we have caravans of people on their way there.
Yeah, we have video to caravan. Take a look at this.
Yeah.
That's huge. they're coming, Washington, D.C. They're coming.
Absolutely. And, from my personal interactions, whatever, I talked to a truck driver today who came up from our Anheuser-Busch, Florida, whatever. He said on 95, he said there has to be 2,000 bikers like on their way up 95 to Washington, D.C. He said it was amazing. He couldn't see the end of them, but it's something that I think, everybody wants to talk about GoFundMe's where 100,000 people chip in $10 and like, oh my God, look at this guy. We just helped him. He's got $1 million. This is about putting your body in a place where they can't deny you. And I think this is something that almost has to happen, especially I know so many people in Pennsylvania that are so pissed over how Pennsylvania is handling this, that they're literally already in DC or on their way, because it's almost like you tried to vote and put your voice out there. You tried to say, this is my vote. This is my citizen right to vote. And they're effing with it right now. Like they're messing with my vote. So now these people are so pissed that they're packing up their cars. They're going to DC to basically stand with 1 million other people and say enough is enough. So, I mean, we're going to see on the news the megalopolis that DC is going to turn into this weekend.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see it, Bill. To make sure you take a lot of pictures. Go live if you can.
I'm definitely gonna go live. I'm gonna bring extra batteries and stuff because I'm sure my camera or my phone will run out. But the best part of all of this is that the mayor tried to the DC mayor is a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. Right. Okay, tried everything to stop this. And the best part about the slap in the face is that this is a First Amendment demonstration. This is guaranteed by the Constitution. This will be a peaceful demonstration. Now, will the shut down DC, Antifa, all those other people, will they manage to stay peaceful while 1 million people are waving American flags and Trump flags and not throw bottles and cans and all that stuff at us? Will they be able to remain peaceful? This is going to be the thing, because I've seen hundreds of Trump rallies where nobody gets hurt. Yeah. I've yet to see an Antifa or BLM demonstration where nothing gets burned and nobody gets hurt. Right. So we are going to find out where the real First Amendment, where the value of the First Amendment sits. And these people that are going, like me, I value all of the amendments. Right. I want to remain peaceful, but this is a part of history where I think you can't let it pass you by without going. And I'm so close that I am definitely going to go. And I just want to say to any of our watchers out there, Maryland, Philadelphia, I mean, even as far as, Vermont, New Hampshire, I know a lot of people in New Hampshire value their freedom, all this stuff. I know it's a 6-hour ride. It's going to be worth it. There's going to be like-minded people there. We need to show that we're not giving up. We need to be there.
Right. Definitely show support to Trump, and hopefully everything is peaceful. We'll see what happens. We're going to go out of the show tonight with the little mega commercial about the rally this coming Saturday. All right. And then we appreciate everybody watching the show, and thanks for all the new subscribers. And
absolutely. Good night, everyone.
It's this: treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider, because it's the outsiders who change the world and who make a real and lasting difference. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. You must keep pushing forward.